Hey everyone, this is McCoy. Welcome back to the BLT podcast. I am joined by the Bollinger Lover.
Poker 2004.
Alright. I'm gonna stop bongoing now because in case things get awry. So, last week we covered week 5 and we predicted week 6, and now it's time to recap week 6 and predict the last week, which has already a lot of games been played, and I'm kind of upset about that.
Aww.
Well, okay. So, also, to just let you know, I apologize if I sound very slurry today. I've been up for over 24 hours just balancing IRL work, and so apologies for that, because I might end up sounding really bad today. Also, I'm kind of livid because this week we've had 2 really bad weeks of BLT, of just mediocre performances, really bad gameplay, and just lots of hacks involved. This week was pretty much the same, except it's a step up over the past 2 weeks. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I guess so.
Alright then. So, first matchup, and definitely a lot of playoff implications, in particular for certain teams, because their playoff spot is on the line, and this will be determined via the results from the past 6 weeks, and then, of course, the really big one, week 7. So, first off, let's cover some matches, shall we?
Okay, by the way, you're very echoey.
Sorry. Alright, that's what I get for recording in a closeted space. Anyway, first off, 7992 versus Aberforth in Ubers. This one was a weirdly even game. I don't know.
Okay, basically what happened here is that Aberforth got pretty caught off guard by some of the sets.
Well, okay, so let me break it down to you. 7992 was in control for the early game, playing around Groudon well and even taking out the Calyrex. Control then shifted around the middle.
No, Mikoi, you see, when you took out the Calyrex, that was one of those times Aberforth is caught off guard by the set. He figured if it's U-turn and knockoff, odds are it's gonna be like Roost and maybe Defog.
But
like, it's not a terribly offensive Yveltal, but then it sucker punches to Aberforth's surprise.
And it immediately killed the Calyrex by that. Control shifted to throughout the middle because of the burn on 7992's Necrozma, while Aberforth had a crucial para on his own Necrozma against the Zygarde. And then towards the end of the game, Aberforth then took over, winning the speed tie with Eternatus, and also revealing Foul Play on Yveltal to take out the Calyrex.
Mm-hmm.
And the ending, it was a Kyogre stall fest until Aberforth crits a Scald to win the game, which I actually called that because we watched this live and I was screaming on the top of my lungs, "He got the crit! What did I tell you?"
He got 2 crits!
Two crits! And that proved Aberforth is the man to beat in Ubers. Next up...
You mean the man to beat you?
Oh, let's see what happens. Alright, SSOU, Bellor versus Java. This was a dead game.
Was a dead game.
Alright, let's skip over that, and now moving on to Zeo Trip versus Harshal. On preview, Harshal looked the favored, I think.
Yes, he was.
And kudos to him, he played very well in the beginning, although he didn't...
in the beginning.
Although, once he didn't attack Skarm with an already set up Rillaboom, and the fact that he sacked Heatran towards the beginning, that kind of shifted the tides in Zeo's favor.
Oh, majorly so.
The Zeo then took control, enabling to both toxic the Tornadus and the Garchomp, even dodging Fire Fangs, which, was unfortunate.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
And he just used Skarmory and Reuniclus to win the game. Very good win in for Zeo, but man, was it not a good look for Harshal.
I think my team in the game discussion chat described it best.
What?
They said, I don't think he has a game plan here.
Yikes. And that's one of the key fundamentals into winning a particular game. Well, Labrases are just sitting pretty. They aren't really worried because, they already made playoffs, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we're not worried. We're literally still in first.
Next up, Plaz versus Udon Girl in UU. Expert Belt Azelf. Definitely the MVP of this team because it had coverage.
Oh yeah, our team was so Azelf weak.
Yeah, it had coverage for nearly everything on Udon's team. You had Energy Ball, you had Flamethrower, you had Psychic. And another particular highlight there was Mamoswine OHKOing Salamence with Ice Shard despite being at -1. That was really fun.
Mikoi, it was banded.
I mean, yes, it was banded, but I wouldn't expect it to OHKO.
Mikoi, it was banded. It might as well be literally neutral attack stat. Of course it's gonna OHKO.
Not OHKO. Aren't Salamence bulky?
OHKO.
Aren't Salamence pretty bulky?
It's effective and it's a Mamoswine. It's probably adamant nature.
If it is adamant, then yes. I can see why.
I don't know if it was, but
Bro.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would need to check.
So, once again, nothing much else to say. It was just a dominant win by Plus. Next.
Yeah, you see what happened there was, that was not the team we were originally going with.
Well, okay, explain to the lovely folks if you want.
So, Udon Girl made a last-minute change to the team without telling any of us. And that last-minute change was the Mamo, actually.
Ooh.
You see, Sarud unfortunately became the fastest Mon on the team due to the change that was made.
Yikes. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. And
yeah, Ziri's like, hey, you know, if you showed me this, there's no way I would have let you do it. This team is way too Azelf weak.
And now,
and
sure enough, he got the Azelfs. He brought Azelf.
Sure enough, that is the exact thing we ran into.
Ah, well. Unfortunate. That's what matchup does to you. Next up.
Yeah, so did you predict Plaz to win there?
Yeah. I did. Alright, this one, of course, wasn't a surprise at all. Casual.exe versus Ars9. Oh boy, this match. Ars9 brought Webs against a slow team, because Casual brought...
Webs HO!
But Casual brought a pretty slow team. You got Pangoro, you got Porygon 2. Didn't bring a little Marowak, unfortunately, but you get the rest. Reuniclus was also there. Yeah, and Mimikyu as well. Very slow-oriented team. Vikavolt was able to set up Webs towards the end, and Casual, not defogging with Togekiss, allowed Mimikyu plus Lucario to just sweep the rest.
Especially Lucario. Got 3 kills there.
Alright, next up. SSNU, the hypest...
Wait, we gotta talk about how it should have been Arsenine versus Kyotoshi, but it wasn't.
That's right, he got subbed out. No.
However, did you initially predict Arsenine when it was supposed to be versus Kyotoshi?
I did.
I guess you were right either way.
I am the betting man. Don't forget that, Pokeyard. Next up.
You're not the betting man if you pick the safe choice. That's the safest choice in the meta.
Frick. SSNU, the hypest NU game ever. Unfortunately, it was a dead game. Better see this in playoffs.
Luthia versus Siri.
Yeah, better see this in playoffs. Next up, SSPU, Lady Rider versus T-Lenet. T-Lenet, why'd you bring a meme team?
'Cause he didn't feel like being serious this week, I guess.
Flapple? Raboot? Comfey? Really?
Yes, he didn't. He was just being to win it.
I didn't have much notes on this one because Lady Rider just played better with a much more dominant win. Dylan.
I don't know if he truly played better, but like he definitely had the matchup.
Yeah, and he won with it handily. Next up.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Telenet didn't have a fire move on that reboot.
Why? Why did you not have stab?
So I'm guessing this did not go the way you predicted it.
Of course not.
Predicted Telenet?
Yeah. Kither versus Surfy. This one is a very standard LC affair. I was expecting a lot more unconventional sets, but you know what? Standard LC, pretty hard to beat. Hard switching into Carvana against Ponyta was kind of risky. That happened one turn. Ponyta being paralyzed was pretty unfortunate. You know, the rest of the game, very standard LC affair, and Kither ended up winning, which was...
That Trapinch kind of owned us, unfortunately.
Yeah, Trapinch was a big...
It also sucked, because, like, the para on Ponyta would have given us a little more... if that had not happened, it would have given us a little more leeway to, damage the Trapinch.
I'm guessing Will-O-Wisp.
A lot.
I'm guessing a Will-O-Wisp. But yeah.
No, Flare Blitz.
What? No, you wouldn't want to... Alright, fine.
Why would we, Willow... I don't know if we have Will-O-Wisp.
Let's chip it, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, very good game from both players, and Kither won.
I don't know, I need to check if we had Will-O-Wisp, but I don't remember the team.
Alright. Well, while you're checking, next up, SSDOU, SMB versus Actually. I watched this 3 times, and I quite honestly don't get it. I mean, okay, Actually did play decently, but SMB brought a Metagross, which was pretty much the MVP of that game, using a pretty unique, I guess, set to stall that Actually found very hard to break. I think it was Cosmic Power, Body Press, Ice Punch, and Rest, I believe.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh, I don't recall it resting, but oh yeah, it actually did rest.
Yeah. So there was a freeze on Necrozma by the end, but that doesn't really matter because SMB already played it. Pretty much SMB only does.
Unfortunately, Actually played himself a bit by trick rooming and not realizing the Metagross was slower.
Well. Unfortunate.
You see, he intended to hit it with Heatran, like a Necrozma Heatran, and it's dead. But then, to his surprise, the Metagross moved before it.
Oof, and it ended up killing the Heatran with Body Press. Unfortunate there. Actually did play his best, but it was up against SMB, so... Bleh.
Yeah, Actually described what happened as him guessing all the sets wrong.
Ooh. SS Monotype. Now this one you have to... Speaking of guessing things wrong, Monotype, we got Loscoto Shoto versus Maroon. Matchup heavily favored in Maroon's favor. It was Water versus Electric, I believe. There was a Hydro Pump miss at turn 6. That was pretty unfortunate.
That was pretty major, considering that would have gotten the Swampert.
Yeah. Well, to make up for it, he Will-O-Wisp the next turn, but that doesn't really matter. So yeah, Maroon started to lose focus because he kept sacking Mons to Barraskewda, and unfortunately, eventually losing as a result. Very short game, very unfortunate for Maroon to lose there, but good win for Loscoto.
Yeah, you see, the shocking part of this was the Barraskewda ended up not being banded.
It wasn't.
So
no.
we have Rotom in versus the Barraskewda, right? Or it can only liquidation again, so he's gonna switch out. But then it flip turns, and we're like, what?
Unfortunate there. He didn't catch the set. So, unfortunate Maroon that didn't get it. So, Los Shoto ended up taking
so
the win.
Was it? Is it what, Mystic Water? What do they run if not Bend?
Let us know in the comments below, Roserades. I'm guessing it is something like Mystic Water, knowing them. So yeah,
honestly.
So yeah, Roserades picked up the win. They were pretty much a mediocre team going into week 6, but after they dominated the Lapresses, they're pretty much locked into the 3rd, I believe. So yeah, good job, Roserades. What a comeback! Finally in contention in playoffs once more. Next up,
this was not our best week. This really wasn't.
it was up against the number 1 seed, so. Next up, the Dressrosa Dracoviches finally getting a win over the Jubilife Jirachis, who are strong.
I'm proud of them.
So, yeah, very good win for the Jirach. All they needed to do was change their lineup so much, and they would win. There you go. So, first off, we got SS Ubers, we got Richard Pepper versus Panerakata. This one was an interesting game, but unfortunately ended up being quite predictable at the end. There was a time where there was Kyogre burning and successfully blocking the Zygarde. That was a good strat. The rest of the game didn't really matter because Banu had already dominated Richard by that point and ended up taking the W.
So, who did you predict here?
Banu.
Yeah, same. Sorry, Richard. You the GOAT.
Alright, next up, SSOU. Crucify with the upset beating Star Master. But when you actually look...
Yeah!
But when you
Finally!
But when you actually look at that game, Crucify did end up playing better. I mean, Star did bring some pretty interesting sets, such as Light Screen Toxapex and Rest Landorus.
Okay, now, I've seen Light Screen Toxapex around, like, every once in a while, but...
Same here.
Rest Lando is interesting.
Yeah, same here. I've also seen Light Screen Toxapex, proven to be pretty effective, really. Tyranitar, definitely the MVP of this game. Because even without Choice Band, it got knocked off. It revealed to have Choice Band. And yeah, it just stone-edged and heavy slammed all of Star's mons until eventually Torn got flinched at the end. And yeah, Crucify ended up taking the W, so...
yeah, which means my guy Arsenine is one of the only 2 undefeated 6-0 players now.
Well, 7-0. We'll get to him later. Next up...
6-0.
Next up, Henny-san versus Stariel. Wow, didn't see this game. I don't know. I didn't see this game, but...
There is no game.
There is no game! Why is it bolded? Dead game alert. Alright, fine.
No, it was an act win.
Oh, okay. So good job,
Star called act and got it.
Hooray! Next up, SSUU, we got Duxcelsior versus Dugza. Registall!
You didn't just say Duxcelsior, did you?
Duxcelsior.
Did I hear that right?
I said Dugza versus Excelsior. Did you not hear the
No, you said Duxcelsior versus Dugza.
Bruh. Registall. That is the only word to describe this game because it was there. Registall, the infamous Registall stat. Even as of missing a Fire Blast to kill it. That was unfortunate. But yeah, ended up sweeping the rest of that game, unfortunately.
As of do be kind of dangerous.
But not unless you come up against the Registall set. Seriously, that mon...
No, it's still dangerous. You just have to hit.
Like, seriously, that mon could be Mon of the Year if I were you. Next up, SSRU. We got Revenge Killer versus John Filch. This game was interesting. Revenge Killer. He exploded his Metagross on an incoming Heracross switch. That was a good start.
Yes.
Gastrodon keeps living on the tiniest bit of HP to tank Mimikyu's Shadow Claw. It happened for like 3 turns in a row, and Gastrodon kept living and recovering.
What was up with that? It felt like every time it would get slightly lower and slightly more in range, like a more reasonable
It lived on 1, for God's sakes.
Finally killed.
Yeah, it was really funny. It lived on 1, for God's sakes. How many times did Gastrodon live there? Like 3 turns in a row? Come on. Towards the end of the game, we got to see Healing Wish levitate Gardevoir because of Trace. It was good to heal up Gastro, but Flygon and Sharpedo, unfortunately, were too much and ended up giving Revenge Killer that game. It was a pretty good game, though. Please do check this out. Next up, Zern versus Phantom Sticks. Both brought nice teams. Not really the best. Pretty unusual kind of teams, actually. Let me pull them up.
I remember both teams being interesting.
Yeah, let's pull it up, shall we? It was Phantom bringing Trick Room with Heliolisk Scarf, I believe, and Zern bringing Duosion. Interesting, but...
Oh, Duosion.
Interesting ideas, but...
yeah, this team. Phantom brought a expanding force size spam, basically.
Not really much in the highlights, unfortunately, because the only really major highlight was Starmie trying to break Duosion with Meteor Beam, only for it to tank and kill it with Psyshock. And that was the end of the game.
Yeah.
A pretty standard game with no real moments, but a good win for Zern.
I don't think the Duosion had Focus Blast, but Phantom kind of needed the Stack Attacker, right?
Yeah, he kind of needed it, and unfortunately wasn't used a lot.
Yeah.
Alright, next up, SSPU. We got GXC versus Avarice. This one of the highlight matches of the week, and actually lived up to them hype. Sandaconda was the MVP, able to live even the tiniest bit of HP to rest off and deal damage with Coil, Earthquake, and Stone Edge. A very good use of Sandaconda right there. Ribambi tried to late game sweep with Quiver Dance, but it was only 1-1, and GXE had Sandaconda, which had Stone Edge, and killed it. Overall, though, really good game. Not really much to note because it was just that good of a game.
I think I fell asleep during it.
I was praising it, and Poker being here like, yeah, this is boring. Good night.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. I remember just kind of dozing off while watching one of the replays.
Alright. Next up, SSLC, we got Clean Cuts beating Raj.Shoot. Interesting, this one. Minfu missed 2 high jump kicks via Protect, which was sad. But credit to Clean, he brought Onyx, which ended up being the MVP, as one Dragon Dance setup led to it head smashing and earthquaking almost everything in Raj's team.
Oh yeah, it was this Onyx set, the D-Dance Protect Onyx.
Yeah, I like that. So, and it ended up just giving Raj the worst matchup possible because it ended up killing everything.
He ended up predicting the fake outs and the high jump kicks properly, and that was it. He swept.
Next up, SSDOU, Frixel versus Ace Hunter. Oh boy. I remember
Ace can't even win in TOU.
Well, Dragapult Frixel's Dragapult ended up becoming the MVP. First getting the early crit on Amoonguss, which was sad. It set up another deep dance and ultimately swept most of Ace's team. Nothing really much to say there. It was just a good matchup by Frixel. Ended up winning with D-Dance Dragapult, +2. Next up, Maki versus Z-Strats. This is the other player that was 6-0 going into week 7. They had interesting names when they play their game. Fox Boys versus Fox Girls. Okay. It was a very hyper-offensive game. There were a couple of highlights, first of all. Like, Crit Like, Tornadus critting with Hurricane on the Marowak and Cinderace able to tank a Thunderbolt from Zapdos. But the real highlight of this game was Dragonite. Because despite getting burned from Volcarona, Maki was still able to sweep Z-Stratus' team by D-dancing and Thunder Punching Volcanon and Moltres. Which, surprise, surprise, 2 weaknesses to Thunder Punch. So, unfortunate there for Z-Strats, but a good win by Maki, able to live through despite the burn. So, good win. Unfortunately, that did not save the Jirachis from losing to the Dracovicious, but we'll get to that when we get to playoff implications. Next up, we got the Majestic Milotics losing to the Santaloon Swamperts. We still in it. We still in it, boys. First off, SS Ubers, TDR versus FC. TDR brought Ferrothorn, bringing Bullet Seed against Kyogre. Able to just kill it with Bullet Seed as well. Very good choice. Over there. So TDR, he seemed to have the upper hand against FC. Groudon did kill both Landorus and Eternatus, but he sacked it against Necrozma, which he kind of needed that, to be honest. Rest of the game exactly went in FC's favor, so nothing much else to note. Next up, Blimax versus Easy. You saw this game.
Yeah.
You saw this game live, right?
I did not see it live.
But you've seen the replay, and I've seen the replay twice. Just like with every other game.
I didn't see it live, but I saw it only minutes after the win post, so...
Blimax brought Stall, and Easy brought Reuniclus to OU, which were very interesting team choices. Mew!
Didn't they both bring kind of stallish teams?
Kind of.
Or Easy brought bulky offense, I think?
Yeah. But the real highlight here was Mew, because that set, Soft-Boiled, Transform, Block, and something else? Imprison. Did a lot of trapping, all right. First the Gastrodon.
Then, it got most of the kills, I think. If not all of them. No, I don't recall.
It got 2/3 of the kills. It got 2/3 of it. You know, Toxapex having Light Screen, having it tanking against Reuniclus's stored power set was also pretty great. But yeah, Mew, definitely the MVP, able to take out Heatran, Tornadus, and Rillaboom with the same strat of blocking it, imprisoning it, letting it struggle, and soft boiling to get the easy health back.
Didn't it do the same thing with Tornadus too?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's 4 things.
Yeah.
At least.
Alright, so good win for Blimax there. Very dominant win as well.
Yeah, I can't say I quite predicted that right.
Next up, we got Atrax Madara beating TJ. This was unfortunate.
Can't say I quite predicted this right either.
But this one was very unfortunate. First of all, Landorus had no item. So Clef just tricked both Lando and Melmetal to get the lefties. Kartana proved quite the threat, because knocking off its own Scarf led to it just out-predicting TJ's switch-ins effectively. Like, it predicted a Sacred Sword against the Melmetal, against TJ's own Melmetal, and then predicted Leaf Blade against Hippowdon. That Hydro Pump miss on turn 37. Had it hit, it would likely have won for TJ, but unfortunately, it missed.
It was very detrimental.
And in the end, Atrax Madara took over the win. Next up, we got Dunox versus Excello. Odd choice of minds from Excello's side. We got Inteleon and we got Zarude.
Well, I guess you figure Inteleon can... What does it do again?
Sniper.
It just...
Scope lens.
Well, what was it here? Was it just specs or something?
I don't know. But I know why you questioned that, because there was a lot of pivoting around the first 20 or so turns. It was nothing like U-turn, Volt Switch, and Flip turn. Nothing much to see there. And yeah.
Yeah, looking at Excello's team, 5 of those Mons are capable of pivoting.
Exactly, and that's what he tried to do for most throughout this game. Unfortunately, Dunox just caught that and just dominated the fight, so that ended up giving the win to Dunox. Next up, HJK defeating Splorsh in a pretty bog standard RU game. Guzzlord definitely carried out the most of the damage, claiming all the kills and becoming MVP of that game. So yeah, Guzzlord, a very strong RU mon, even though it's what, NU. Alright. Next up, Luthier versus Team Charm. We didn't get to talk about this one last week, so we're gonna talk about it now because, oh boy!
Yeah!
Because, oh boy, things did happen. First of all, Luthier brought a pretty base team, not gonna lie. We got Bronzor and Jinx being notable examples. MVP of this game definitely belonged to Starmie, whose life orb proved only troubling. He only like weakness in quotation marks, I think, is Jinx, but yet it still managed to hit the Thunders and hyper pump the rest of the team.
Jinx wasn't its weakness. What? It resisted both of its moves. What are you talking about?
But it still managed to hit the Thunders on
Starmie
Jinx.
Was actually the Jinx wall.
So, yeah. Actually, no, you're right. You're right. What am I talking about? Starmie was Jinx's wall and nothing much else.
And it's a threat, too.
Well, dry skin. I was looking at the dry skin plays more closely than I thought. Next up, SSPU, we got Michael Durbest versus Failures. Nothing much else to say about this game because, yeah, it was kind of a dominating win. Rapidash Galar was the MVP, just sweeping everyone. Nothing much else to say. Next up, we got SSL.
We're going through this really fast.
Well, most of these games are just pretty standard playing. It was nothing really too surprising happened. Well, except for this one, SSLC, we got Tobe versus Wesh Papillon.
Yeah, Magby.
Belly Drum Magby. I mean, what else can you really say about this game? Belly Drum Magby sweeping everything.
You can mention how it belly drummed, and then all of Pap's mons disappeared.
Belly Drum used super effectively. Next up, Mamalu versus Fangame 10. Mamalu! Fangame had the advantage on the early game, using the Krozma to just sweep Zeraora, Tapu Fini, and a particularly pretty dangerous Genesect set. I know it only got Iron Head, but hey, things happen. It could be worse. You could run, Shift Gear, Life Orb, Iron Head. But yeah,
there are many sets for it.
Yeah, Mamalu got lucky again, this time using a +2 attack Zygarde to crit Oko Ninetales, although I don't know how much it mattered, really. But, again, Mamalu winning. Mamalu just being the unsurprised. Well, no, Mamalu is the surprise underdog in all of BLT, I believe.
I think you mean the surprise hacks god.
Yeah, F off, El Cap. Mamalu is your
As he quite literally has not won a game without some form of hacks every time now.
Good job, Mamalu. And finally we got SS Mono, Plunder versus Luisin. Plunder finally got the W. Very needed, much so. Ferrothorn killed both Seismitoad and Keldeo. Was pretty nice to see, in spite of the Hydro Pump miss. But it didn't really much matter. Roar Heatran was a nice surprise, roaring away Finny's boosts. Because it was trying to set up Calm Mind. Roar Heatran comes in, just sweep, just roars it out. And ultimately, Plunder...
Yeah, that was nice.
But ultimately, Plunder took the win there, so good on you, Swampert.
Despite it being steel versus water.
Yeah, good on you, Swamperts. Carry that win over to next week, why don't you?
Yeah, beat those Rose Raids. I don't really want to face them again.
Speaking of utter dominating teams this week, we got the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes The Sunny Shore Snorlax is absolutely murdering the Salacion Solgaleos in an 8-2
What did
victory.
the Poets do to deserve this?
Nothing. Velvet versus Miminger 21. I mean, the Magnezone trapping the Necrozma was cool. Although, when Magnezone tried to do it against the same to Ferrothorn, it was seeded. And that, plus Iron Barbs, just killed it. And Geomancy Xerneas just swept the rest.
Geomancy Xerneas decided it was going to sweep Velvet's team.
And
unfortunately, it crit the Kyogre.
Mm-hmm. So,
that probably mattered since it's a Kyogre, and especially since Velv said it was a special defense invested Kyogre.
So that was unfortunate.
Yeah, so that mattered. And that might have actually impacted the result of the game.
Unfortunate there. Next up, Zoroark versus Frizzoweva, one of the more standard OU games this week, because it was actually a pretty even game. Even a high dragon sack from Lele, I knew it was coming. Zapdos then went 50-50 against Torn and Lando, just killed Torn instead, and Zoroark cleaned the rest of the game with Melmetal. Next up, Zen versus Bladius. God, another game that I just want to erase from my memory because Bladius, you had to face another Shuckle-Web's HO team, huh?
Wow, yeah, that must be unfortunate to face and lose again to another Shuckle-Web's HO.
PTSD has struck again for Bladius. Dragonite's Banded Ice Punch killed the 4 times weak to Ice Mons. Hilarious. Diggersby then cleaned...
Was it banded? Are you sure?
I believe... They talked about it in chat. I believe it is banded.
Oh, yeah. They did say that.
Diggersby ended up cleaning through Victini and Sharpedo with Quick Attack.
Perhaps it's notable to mention that there was a Diggersby and Sharpedo in this game.
In OU?
In this OU game.
Well, unfortunate. And so, yeah, Zen ultimately picked up the win. It was a bad game, though. Eternals...
I mean, interesting teams, though, between,
Interesting.
Bladius with, mostly standard stuff plus Sharpedo. And then Zen with Diggersby, Shuckle, Dragonite, Blastoise, Tapu Koko, Aegislash.
Didn't even get to use Blastoise or Aegislash, so just ended up...
I wanted to see that Blastoise be used. I'm a little disappointed in that regard.
Probably Shell Smash.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to see that.
And SSUU, we got Eternal Snowman versus Auras Mega. This one, okay. Slowking showing off his kind of tanky side with the first couple of turns since it survived like a Primarina Moonblast plus a Thunderbolts from particular runs. I don't remember mostly about this game. Towards the end, though, a couple of Hurricane misses from Moltres were costly, as that could easily sweep the end game against ESM. But fortunately, ESM played around the first couple of parts and ultimately won. Nothing really much else to say. Pretty good game. Next up, Gorex versus Rimsit B. Oh my god.
Should have been Gorex versus Foss, but Rimsit B won anyways.
Yeah. Well, score 1 for the Potes. Gorex did have kind of a strong start, setting up a lot of hazards and just generally having the upper hand throughout.
Yeah, I think it actually did start out in Gorex's favor, Mons-wise, because, he had 6. I remember Rimsit B was kind of down to 4 early in the game.
Yeah, even Milotic was the MVP of this game because it was able to haze out Suicune and recover, which...
had he not done
that, it would have proven deadly. Around the time of the Togekiss 1v1, though, Rim started to play better, and Gorex ended up sacking a particular Mons, which he kind of slowed down at that point. Entei keeps subbing and protecting against Guzzlord when Really, he should have started attacking Gus with Sacred Fire. Although I don't really.
It didn't have Sacred Fire.
Oh, it had Lava Plume. Sorry.
It was Lava Plume Combined.
Yeah. That's right. So, good.
Also, the burn on Circuitry for Gorex, that was unfortunate because it very much limited how much it could come out and attack. Like, that became very apparent later in the game because it was getting so low. It could not afford to stay in for even one turn.
So it just ended up being sacked.
It was forced to switch out. It was forced to volt switch every time.
Poor Circuitry. Overall, kind of an okay game. Kind of only a decent game. But yeah, Gorks had that one, but unfortunately, Rim just played better near the end. Next up, GW versus iNasty. Ooh, it starts off with the usual NU affair. First of all, Toxic Rogue failing to kill Caparaja without Life Orb and getting O-Code as a result. That was a highlight.
Wait a minute. I don't think I saw this game, so what?
Yeah, Toxic Rogue's Life Orb was knocked off, I believe at one point. I don't know.
Okay, but what did it use that failed to kill the Caparaja?
Drain Punch. And then it just used Heavy Slam on Toxic Rogue and O-Code it. So yeah, nothing much else to say otherwise. GW just played a little bit more consistently than iNasty throughout this game, so GW won.
I think iNasty is winless, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Next is PU, Ninja versus Patek. Another really good PU game, this one. Not a lot of notes here because there was only one particular note here, but like Garbodor versus Shift Tree War was pretty great. Other than that, definitely a must-watch. And it's great to see Ninja finally getting a win. After, kind of dominating the first few weeks and then kind of just falling off quite a bit and then pulling it back up.
So I think you mean finally getting another win.
Yeah. Good for you, Ninja. Taz versus Banbadoro. This was the most predictable LC game ever. Taz just kept playing.
LOL.
Taz just kept outplaying Mal at every turn. Scarf Porygon claiming for the win. Yeah, pretty predictable results. And this one, however, not really predictable results.
Yeah, this is the game of the week.
God, why did this game exist? This is like that one. I can't even come up with an analogy right now. I'm just so tired. But also, F this game. Shadow Monster versus Crunchman. First of all, Shadow brought a pretty weirdly constructed team. It was Dragonite and Blastoise. Then we got Sand Offense, and then we got Blaziken and Amoonguss. Huh? What was the theming for Shadow this week? Then there was another instance where Dragonite didn't have a dragon move to take out Zygarde. It was just doing dual Wing Beat on it, which had he had Outrage, it would have easily killed it. I don't know. Sandrill outspeeding even Pheromosa. That was obvious. But then we come to the last couple of turns, which were the worst.
It was definitely not a couple of turns. Quite a bit more, actually.
This was the worst gameplay I have ever seen in a tour game ever.
This is gonna be up there with the worst games if someone does a list for it again.
Get there, update your list. We have a contender. T-Tar only having Heavy Slam and Rock Slide for Stack Attacka. Crunch not using Gyro Ball, just resorting to his Stack Attacka, flinching and missing Stone Edge for Shadow to take the W. What?
Yeah, repeatedly heavy slamming.
He didn't wait for Gyro Ball.
Did like 8.
He set up the Trick Room.
Late game after Crunch keeps missing his Stone Edges because he isn't gyro balling for whatever reason. Shadow Monster decides, I'm gonna try rock sliding. Oh wait, that did more than heavy slam.
And it flinched. Which was another important thing.
So then he keeps rock sliding, and it flinches, and Stone Edge continues to not hit.
And that ultimately Shadow took the win there. Delete this game. Delete this game from your memory. Finally, we come to...
I don't know, bro. I'm going to remember this for a long time.
God damn it. SS Monotype, we got Attribute versus Pote. Pretty decent game. Pretty predictable result, though. Although, kudos to Pote for putting on a much better performance than expected. Had Pote played his Mimikyu as his win con, he would have likely won the game because Mimikyu was actually pretty good against the flying team Attribute brought. So had he saved it at that.
Was there a Stela?
Yeah, there was, but you had other options. Like you had the freaking Frostlass, or you had the I can't remember. That was the end. Sorry if I'm rushing.
That's right.
Yes, sorry for rushing through most of these games because most of the games I just found this week, they're just pretty standard games. I mean, it was just the calming of the storm, and it was much better than the ones in week 4 and 5, but not to the standards of week 1
and 2. Oh yeah, I agree. Shadow versus Crunch is top tier, much better.
All right, time to first take a look at.
Wait, Miko, how did you do on predicts this week?
I'm going to guess half. I'm always guessing half.
Well, maybe at the end of the video, you can say how you did.
I'll leave that. I'll leave that up to the I'll leave a thing about it on the description. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's talk about playoff implications, shall we? Who is making into BLT 9 playoffs? First of all, the Lavender...
Oh, I have no idea. Do you think the purple Laprases will?
Also, the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes, I don't think they'll make it. Nah, we're kidding. They're making it. They're already in. Like, come on. There's no surprise there that the Snorlaxes and the Laprases are right now the top 1 and the top 2 teams currently, and they're making playoffs. Top 3 was Roserades with a +4 and 7 points. Very good, but differential is going to be very close. So the real kicker and the real race, I believe, would be the Jirachis, Swamperts, and Milotics right now. Maybe Roserades if you want to throw Roserades in the shuffle, because that 7 to 5 slot, the ranks 3 to 6, are pretty damn close. Swamperts need a win over the Roserades to make it. Roserades need the Swamperts to keep their place. Jirachis, I believe. Who are they facing this week? The Dracovishes?
No, they faced the Dracovishes last week.
Oh,
the Jirachis are facing the Solgallios, which
they
should most likely win.
Yeah, I think Jirachis would most likely win against the Solgallios to keep their 4th place spot. So...
Which means you guys are in trouble.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. I mean, we go... So, again, some matches already played this week, and we already are off to a 1-0 rockin' start. Am I right? All right.
Oh, yeah. No one updated the scheduling sheet. I need to do that.
All right. First, all right. Let's now predict the last week of the round-robin stages of BLT 9. Playoff.
Yeah, we made it, boys.
All right, last week and last predicts for playoffs. So last chance for you guys to make playoffs or go home. First off, the Ruin
Valley. Go home.
Ruin Valley Roserades versus the Santolin Swamperts. First off, 79I2 versus FC.
Gee, I wonder who wins this.
Well, okay, comparing these two and how they did from weeks 1 to 6 so far. Both have been pretty good in Ubers. I mean, sure, Aberforth may be top. But FC, I think FC is like second, and the 79I2 is somewhere along the top cut of that. But this one should be alright. But I think... Alright, you predict. Okay, you think. Who's going to win?
FC.
Okay, FC it is.
I don't have any doubts about it either.
SSOU, we got Balor versus Blimax. I want to see Blimax kick the absolute S out of Balor this week.
Oh, wow. I sense some tension.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? Maybe. But yeah, Blimax should win this one. Next one, Failures versus Zio Trip. This already happened, actually, and Failures won, which...
To my pleasant surprise, yes.
Yeah, good. Failures finally got a win, aside from the win over ABD, against Zio Trip. Next up, SSUU, Plas versus Dunox. This one's ought to be close. This one's a highlight match.
Yeah, I agree.
Both players have been absolutely outstanding on UU as of late. Throughout the last 6 weeks, I think both are evenly matched. I mean, I know who I'm picking, but what about you? Who are you leaning more?
That's really hard.
Is that your answer?
I don't know.
Alright. Next up, SSRU, Kyotoshi versus Splorsh. Oh no, Splorsh. Theo! Yeah, I'm confusing. There you go. There I go. Slurring my words again. Kyo versus Theo. I really want Theo to pull this off. Kyo is quite possibly his toughest opponent aside from Ars9. So...
Yeah... That's understandable.
I'm picking Kyo, but I'm rooting for Theo. Next up, Anarchius versus Team Charm. This should be a highlight for you.
Mm-hmm.
This one's definitely... Alright, Team Charm is unpredictable, but Anarchius is the safe pick.
Yeah, I agree. Anarchius is generally the better player, I think, but I'm very much looking forward to the game. I really want to see what Team Charm will bring.
Same here. Next up, SSPU, we got Lady Rider versus TJ. Lady Rider, absolutely fantastic in PU. Has a 5-0 record against TJ, whose first foray into PU. Ooh, this one should be alright, but I think I want to go Lady Rider because Lady Rider's been generally impressive.
I'm gonna possibly go with TJ.
Ooh,
actually.
Alright. Next,
I wouldn't be surprised if Lady Rider takes it though.
SSLC, we got Kither versus Door Money. Alright, I heard Door Money has been looking forward to playing Kither this week. So this should be pretty fun. I'm gonna go with Kither though, but come on, Door Money. Come on, Hacker. Let's go for it. SSDOU, SMB versus Fangame 10. Oh boy. That's gonna be tough to beat. SMB.
I feel a little bad.
Yeah. SS Mon.
This is kind of crucial, and this isn't a time where you want to get the toughest opponent in the tier.
Especially at a crucial week like week 7.
That's what I was just saying. It's a crucial time. That, aka, not the time you want to get an opponent like this.
Oh well. SS Monotype, we got Lascana Shoto versus Plunder. This one's gonna be fun. Pretty 50-50 on this one because both players have been alright, performing decently, not really showing that much potential. I think I want to go with Plunder. Just bias.
Alright.
Bias, alright. Dressrosa Dracovicious versus the Majestic Milotics. Now, if Milotics want playoffs, they better pull off a 10-0 win. Also, the Dracovicious might do it if they pull off the 10-0 win themselves.
Yeah, and if you guys lose, if the Jirachis lose, then yeah.
Dracovicious are in. SS Ubers, we got GXE versus Piyush 25, the newest sub for the Milotics. Yeah, GXE. SSOU, Leroux versus Easy. Oh, this one should be alright, but I think I'm leaning Easy.
Alright, that makes sense, but I wouldn't be surprised if Lara wins.
Okay. SSOU, we got Zern versus Atrix Madara. Both players, well, Atrix has been on the up and up as of late. Been impressing us with performances in week 5 and 6. Zern been kind of is a bit more consistent, so I'm going to say Zern on this one.
Okay. Wait, Zern?
Yeah, Zern. Why? Are you going Atrix?
Wait, hold up. I wasn't paying attention. Who was Zern facing?
Atrix Madara.
Yeah, okay, then yes. If it's OU, then yeah, Zern.
Okay. In any other tier, it would be Atrix.
Sorry, I was looking at the scheduling sheet because I was updating it. So, because it's unupdated, it says Zern versus Luthier in NU, so I need to change that.
Lol.
That's why I was a little... Wait, what?
Lol. SSUU, we got Dugza versus Exello. Shouldn't be too surprising, I think. I think Dugza should win.
Yes, I think that is the very safe pick.
Yeah. I can't be a betting man this week. I have... It's way too risky. SSR. Okay, this one though, I gotta play my betting man skills. Revenge Killer versus Revenge Killer versus Michael Derbest. So Michael Derbest is the safe pick, but Revenge Killer has been hot, on fire as of late.
He's out for revenge.
I'm gonna be the betting man and say Revenge Killer wins.
Well, I'm not gonna be a betting man because I ain't a man, and I'm gonna say Michael Derbest.
Alright, the risk is on. I'm playing my cards there. SSNU, we got Clean versus Luthier. Yeah, Luthier.
Yeah, Luthier. I think the dude won something. What NU tour did he win? I forget.
NU something. I haven't checked.
Siri said he won some NU tour. I just forget which one.
Okay. SSPU, we got Crucify versus Splorsh. This one's good. Both evenly matched players, I feel.
No.
Bruh?
I don't feel it's evenly matched in terms of overall player.
Well, not PU, but any other tier, they would be pretty good. Splorsh. I'm gonna say
Crucify.
Really?
Is what I'm gonna say.
All right, I'm picking Splorsh.
Better overall player. Splorsh has not been too impressive, in my opinion, so far.
Okay. SSLC, we got Ace Hunter versus Tobias. Can we have an Ace Hunter win? Can we have the lucky Ace Hunter win? Unfortunately, no. I'm gonna say Tobias.
Yeah, I really want to predict Ace Hunter, but I'm gonna say Tobe.
SSDOU. Z-Strats versus Mamalu.
Hexing Mamalu.
Can we be the betting man and say Mamalu wins via hacks?
No, I'm gonna be safe.
Yeah, I'll be the safe pick as well and go for Z-Strats. And finally, SS Mono, we got Kagilus versus Luisin. Haven't seen too much of Kagilus in Monotype, unfortunately.
Yeah, we really haven't, but I'm gonna predict Kagilus anyway.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna go with Kagilus. Better player overall.
Luisin has not been terribly good.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next up, we got the Solaceon Solgaleos versus Jubilife Jirachis. Jirachis are already up 3-0. Starting off with SS Ubers, we got Banu Rakata already beating Velvet. I would have...
What would you have predicted?
I honestly would have predicted Velvet, so... Lost one.
Oh.
SSOU, we got Airfare versus Starmaster. I want to root for Airfare. I really do. But Starmaster is going to win.
Yeah, I want to root for Airfare too.
Starmaster is going to win.
But unfortunately, Starmaster.
The betting man is failing us. SSOU, we got Patek versus Storiel. Again, I want to root for Patek, but yeah, the betting man in me says Storiel should win there.
Of course you want to root for every Galio because you don't want the Jirachis to win.
How fitting. SSUU, we got Oras Mega versus Shiba. Both highly valued UU players who are, I think, winless.
Yes, in although record. I don't... Well, Shiba is considered a GOAT in UU. I wouldn't say he was highly valued based on price tag alone.
Also, GOAT, yeah, but unfortunately, he's been getting kind of unlucky here. I want him to win, so let's go Shiba.
Wait.
I'll predict Shiba.
You want him to win?
No, I'll predict Shiba 1 against Oras
But you
Mega.
Want him to win because he's a Jirachi, keep that in mind.
I know, but Shiba needs a win at some point.
Yes, but you need the Jirachis to lose.
Well, we'll talk about that in the other matchups. First of all, Floss versus John Filch in SSRU. I want to root for Floss, but I'm predicting John Filch.
I might be predicting Floss.
Ooh, okay, let's go Floss. SNU, Avidus defeating Inasty. All right.
Unfortunately, that would have been our predict anyway.
All right, SPU, we got ABD versus Gambit. Yeah, I want to go ABD on this one.
I am also predicting ABD.
All right, good player, this one. SSLC, Blidius versus Excelsior. So finally they got rid of Blidius for OU, and now they decided to put him in LC, which may be a good choice.
Imagine he still faces WebHO in LC.
Against Excelsior? Are we giving...
Jupiter Webs HO.
All right. I think, yeah, Excelsior to win this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I predict the same.
Shadow Monster versus Frost Pixel in DOU.
I thought you were about to say Froxel.
Froxel. DOU. Shadow versus Frixel. Come on, Shadow. Let's go, Shadow.
Yeah, go Shadow. Especially because Frixel is a Jirachi.
And finally, we got Monotype, Pote versus Maki. Maki is now 7-0 in BLT 9.
Aw, man.
Alright, very dominant Maki. Very dominant win. And finally, we get to the meme matchup of the week, because it's between the top two teams, and they are free to meme this week.
Yay!
Sunny Shore Snorlaxes versus the Lavender Laprases. That's Supers. Royal Reloaded versus Aberforth. I mean, come on. Royal Reloaded.
I mean, come on. Yeah, that's a great response to this.
I mean, come on. I want Royal Reloaded to win. Let's go, Royal Reloaded. Hey. Let's go Aberforth, actually. Aberforth.
Yeah, that is the better choice. The more based choice.
Well, speaking of based, SSOU, Fragments versus Rajanold, Bones. That's all I'll say. Bones. I pick Bones to win.
I want Fragments to bring a team that is fully named after different bones.
Yes. Also, happy birthday, Fragments.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, man.
SSOU, Ninja versus My Java. Yeah?
Wait a minute, you predicted Fragments to win?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, come on.
Well, here...
I'm predicting Raji.
Okay, well, SSOU, I'm predicting My Java, so better?
Yes, that is better, in my opinion.
SSUU, we got Zen versus Udon Girl. Should be fun. I want two meme...
Yes, I agree, it should be fun.
Two meme players who memed in week 6. I don't know. Yeah, let's go Udon Girl.
Yes, good pick. That's the better pick.
SSRU, GW versus the Ars9. Let's predict the upset. Go GW.
No, that is not the
Come on,
GW!
End the streak.
No. No, Maki is now 7-0, so now Arsenine is he has to win now.
Oh boy, are we getting Arsenine versus Maki at some point? Please have it happen. All right.
Actually, I bet Maki wants that less than Arsenine.
It's the battle of the goats. Yeah, Arsenine to win this one. Okay, I'll concede. SSNU, PokeR 2004 versus Alfuson.
Oh wow, that name sounds familiar.
No comment on who to predict was fun. Go PokeR. Next up, SPU.
Wait, you're not going to pick the obvious choice in that?
No, I'm a betting man. You seem to forget that. I am the betting man.
Then what is your choice? Tell me, Mikoi.
PokeR 2004 will win. As the betting man, I play all my cards.
Hold up, that's not the right choice.
It's the risky choice. SPU.
I have no idea what I'm gonna bring, but there is something I have in mind.
Alright.
I don't know if it's doable, though.
I
don't know if it's doable in this gen.
SPU, we got TDNT versus X Skelly. Finally, we get to see X Skelly in PU. Unfortunately, it's up against a GOAT in TDNT. So, TDNT.
Aww.
SLC, we got El Cap versus Harshal. Harshal 08, 100%. No ifs, ands, or buts. SSDOU, we got Gorex versus Actually. Yeah.
Wait, what did you say for Harshal? That sounded like gibberish on my end.
I said Harshal to win, no ifs, buts, or coconuts.
Good, because I saw someone predict for El Cap.
No.
And that was insulting.
No. Delete that message. SSDOU, we got Gorex versus Actually. Actually better win.
Apparently, from the DOU prep chat, they said Gorex plays doubles.
Ooh, so we might actually get to see an even game for once.
I don't know about that, but could be interesting.
Monotype, what I feel like should have been the DOU match is actually the mono match, is the Eternal Snowman versus Spitfire Arcanine.
Why is that supposed to be the DOU match?
I want to see Spitfire play doubles. That's my only hope. That's my only comment.
You should have said so before the week started then, because we decided this prior.
I mean, I'm not a manager for the Labrasus, so I don't have a say, regardless.
You could have just said so to me.
And Spitfire to win. Let's go Spitfire.
Yeah, let's go Spitfire or DJ Brayluminati.
And that brings us to the end of week 6 recap and week 7 predicts. Sorry if it feels a little rushed. I mean, we're just rushing it all. We're just getting it all out because playoffs will be important. So good luck.
No, we're rushing it because Mikoi has not slept in over 24 hours.
That too. So, thank you all for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos once they come out. And I'll see you next week.
Okay, Mikoi, sleep.
Alright, I will go do that. This has been Mikoi, signing out. See you next week for week 7 recap and playoffs predicts.
Goodbye, now Mikoi sleeps.